own time is my own thing.
Driving that train, high cocaine. Imus in the morning.
It's summer, American.
Food Emporium with the very best features, luscious varieties of Ben & Jerry's ice creams. The 16-ounce container, 2 for only $4 at the Food Emporium, just for you. I'm Lori McNichol for the Reuters Fan Highway Patrol.
Imus in the morning, 2020 Sports.
Good morning, Patrick McEnroe with sports. L.A. celebrates outside the Staples Center where stores were looted and police cars burned on Monday following the Lakers' Game 6 win over Indiana. Over 250,000 people hailed the NBA champions yesterday. They heard speeches from the mayor, promises of more titles, and this from MVP Shaquille O'Neal.
From now on, I am no longer the big Aristotle. I want to be known as the big Shakespeare.
Certainly inspiration for playwrights everywhere.
Yeah. Big jerk. Thank you, Shaq.
By the way, a mostly well-behaved crowd except for a group of young men wearing Lakers' jerseys who pounded on a bus and stole food from a catering truck.
They got to eat. Hey.
More from the NBA. Lenny Wilkens has been named head coach of the Toronto Raptors, replacing the fired Butch Carter, who led the team to a club record 45 wins and a spot in the playoffs. Wilkens has won 1,179 games in his NBA career and takes over a talented squad, led, of course, by Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady. What will he bring to the table as the fourth head coach in Raptor history?
The area that definitely will change is the defense, because I'm a proponent of that. And I don't see any reason why we can't be a little better defensive team and a little more up-tempo.
Let me give you one reason why, Lenny.
Okay.
Because Vince Carter is not a proponent of defense. Better change his attitude.
That's it.
He can explode on the offensive end, but when it comes to defense,
No way.
Takes a pass.
Ain't going to happen.
Well, Kobe Bryant turned around. He became probably the best defensive player in the league.
Well,
So you don't know what you're talking about.
So maybe it'll happen. Maybe Lenny will weave his magic.
Here you're making these huge assertions, and you're having to backtrack already.
That happens.
Sound like the I-Man.
The Yankees, looking for a third straight win over the Red Sox, lose 9-5 as the bullpen flounders. The Sox score 5 runs in the 7th off Yankee relievers Jason Grimsley and Mike Stanton, denying David Cone a much-needed win. Now, Cone left the game with the Yanks ahead 5-4. Cone looking for his first win since April. Didn't happen as the relievers faltered. Stanton walked in 2 runs, and the Sox moved ahead and won at 9-7, moved ahead 9-5 in the 7th.
Well, do you know? Damn it.
I know exactly what
Want
happened.
to write this stuff down before you come in?
I'm telling you.
Right fielder Paul O'Neill could not put his finger on this one.
We're up 5-4 in the 7th. Those are the games we usually win. I mean, our bullpen has been so good all year. These are the games we win.
Is he related to Shaq O'Neal?
Ominous sign for the Yankees. Not looking good.
Uh-oh.
By the way, George Steinbrenner was in the crowd at the game at Fenway and was constantly on his cell phone. The rumors abound that the Yankees trying to make a deal, maybe not for Sammy Sosa, but it looks like Juan Gonzalez may be coming to New York.
Cool.
So we'll see what happens with that. I can tell you're riveted by that news, Charles. Absolutely riveted.
I jotted it down so I can follow it.
Cleveland beat Chicago 8-6 as Jim Thome homered twice. The Indians cut Chicago's lead in the Central to 6.5 games.
All right.
And at Oakland Coliseum, Eric Chavez hit for the cycle as the A's beat up on Baltimore 10-3. Oriole pitcher Mike Mussina gave up 8 runs as the hottest offensive team in baseball roughed up the Orioles ace.
They're playing well. I just didn't pitch that well, so
You suck.
just didn't work out.
No,
It didn't
definitely
work
did not work
Get
out. Moving to the National League, the Cubs beat Atlanta 8-1 as John Rocker had another disastrous outing, giving up 5 runs in the 9th inning as the Cubs blew open the ball
great.
game.
God.
Of course, you know, Charles, that Rocker and the Braves come to New York next week for the first time
Yep.
since Rocker's inflammatory comments about immigrants
Can
in
you
New
say
York City.
ever ready?
Huh?
Can you say ever ready?
We don't need that.
No, we don't.
That is not
We're
necessary.
not looking for that. We're not going to have D-battery night at Jay. It's not going to happen.
No, we cannot encourage that type of behavior.
No, we don't.
Not at all.
Car
As a matter
batteries.
of fact. No.
One person who does not want to encourage that behavior, of course, is New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
Absolutely.
And yesterday he responded to Rocker's comments about immigrants.
When I read John Rocker's comments about immigrants, I was thinking about the fact that the most valuable player in the World Series was Mariano Rivera, an immigrant, not John Rocker. We have the championship, not John Rocker and the Braves. And we have the championship because of, in part, the contribution of immigrants.
That's the way to go, Rudy. Our immigrants are better than yours.
Taking our huddled masses, baby.
Mets lose Ray Ordonez for the season as his broken left forearm is not healed properly, so he's done.
Yep.
And the Met bullpen problems continued last night as the Mets blew another late-inning lead in a 10-5 loss to the Phillies. John Franco walked in the winning run, and Armando Benitez served up a grand slam to Phillies first baseman Pat Burrell. Burrell has hit 3 homers in 2 games against the Mets. This is a guy who only had 3 homers all year before this series.
It's embarrassing.
Catcher Mike Piazza says this slide has got to stop.
We really don't feel like we've been giving games away. We've just been making mistakes and haven't been executing.
No, you have not. You have been giving games away.
It should be executed, as far as that's concerned.
I'm Patrick McEnroe, and that is sports.
She wanna wait and wait and wait and wait for a steady day.
Get stoned out of your mind. Yes, please.
Imus in the morning.
We are gathered here today.
With apologies to my buddy Buckhorns. Here's Bubba.
They should have put me in that movie about the fella who commits adultery and makes booty calls inside the Oval Office. 'Cause all I gotta do is act naturally. Well, I bet you I'm gonna beat that Ken Starr. Independent counsel, he can't go to hell. I'll prove that he's got nothing, he'll be disbarred. 'Cause I ain't the type who likes to kiss and tell. Well, I just know this could all be in a movie. Take a whole damn roll of quarters just to see me, Paula Jones, and Monica Lewinsky. And what we would be doing is what comes naturally. The scene where I groped that Kathy Willie and put her hands between my knocking knees, and the one where the grand jury of BSing and tell little white lies to Hillary. Well, I bet you I'm gonna beat that Ken Starr. All his allegations I'll finally dispel. Then he can kiss my little pinky cigar like he's in my room at the Excelsior Hotel. Well, Travolta, he may play me in that movie, but he can't be as near as good as me. To play the part of a slick and shifty president, all I gotta do is act naturally. All I gotta do is act naturally. All I gotta do is act naturally. Get past the people, get past the hitman. Imus in the morning.
This is the Imus in the Morning radio program on WFAN New York.
Imus in the morning.
To make this commercial more...
And he said, did Imus call me paranoid again tonight? Or this morning? And I said, yes, he did. And then Leslie said you called me paranoid last week. Now, how were the ratings with Leslie on the show last week?
Very, very good. She did great.
She did.
Yes, she did. She was very complimentary about you, Al, particularly.
We love Leslie.
Did say that Boomer had hit on her a couple of times.
I was working it. What can I tell you? Boomer's hit on me a couple of times.
Anyway, well, it's very nice to talk with you, Al.
Oh, well, you are a suck-up. You are such a suck-up. You're my man now. You're my man.
Why am I? I'm not a sucker, but I've
You are sucking up like unbelievably.
What should I say? It's not nice to talk to you, Al?
No, you would say, goodbye, you little paranoid nit or something.
No,
Oh, come on.
It's very nice to talk to Al Michael. What am I supposed to do here?
All right, good. I just want you to know he's a professional, and I just had to do this, man, just to relieve some of the the pressure that's going on in our booth.
You know, you see, it isn't really Al. The Al is not the problem. The problem is between you and Deerdorf, and the tension is palpable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's ugly.
I mean, you can deny it all you want, but there's clearly this one-upmanship going on, and poor Al's got to sit there and try to referee this thing with you two meatheads.
Oh, you're amazing. You might as well be in politics.
So are you in Tampa Bay now as we speak?
Yeah.
By the way, about half the time you don't even know where in the hell the game is.
What are you're a sports star, huh?
So,
come on, what kind of question is that?
So it's Green Bay and Tampa Bay tonight, a game that Tampa Bay, what, is 3-13 or whatever they are, or 3-11 or 10 or whatever they are.
Right, well, so what are you trying to get at?
Is there a reason to watch this game tonight, or other than the fact, of course, it's Monday Night Football? And
I don't know, Al. What do you think? Great announcing tonight, Imus. Fantastic. That's why you watch this game. In fact, Imus, what I would suggest is that people turn off the picture and just turn up the sound.
We like it better when we have somebody like the Vikings, because there's always a chance of some sort of violence, and one of the players will leap into the stands and assault somebody.
Sure. So well, I mean, that could happen tonight, I think, but I don't know. What do you think, Al? See, I got to just defer everything to Al right now because he's the senior member. All I do is lead to a commercial these days. You know that.
Well, Boomer, you should say something to try to encourage us to watch this thing, shouldn't he?
Yeah. Hype it. Let's go.
No, it's a very, very important game.
Okay, why is it important, Boomer?
Well, because somebody has to win.
And it's on TV.
And it's on TV. And it's a lot better than Everybody Loves Raymond. We know that.
You're right.
Well, we prefer it. I prefer when Al does the horse races. Because we're convinced that Al bets on these. That's
the other thing now. What makes you think that? Hey, now how about, I talked to some guys who were in the sports book in Vegas last week at the end of that New England Buffalo game. Can you imagine?
No.
I mean, not only did the line come into play with all of that stuff at the end, the over-under came into play as well. Ugh.
This was a game, boys and girls, in case you weren't watching this, probably we weren't, in which there was a jump ball in the end zone.
Right.
They call a penalty for some reason.
Exactly.
Then New England scores, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And the fat guy from the Bum Phillips kid, Wade, he is in a snit.
Right.
And so he takes his team off the field. Mm-hmm. And so the coach from Pete Carroll from the New England Patriots decides to rub it in. And instead of kicking a field goal, the point spread was 3 points.
Yes.
Right. 3 to 3.5.
Exactly. Instead of kicking a field goal, he decides to go for 2 points because there's no
opposition.
There's no opposition. So the quarterback or whomever takes the ball, walks in, and they win by 4 points. So, well, in spite of this dreadful appearance on behalf of both of you this morning, by the way, giving us no compelling reason to watch this game tonight.
No, you don't.
No, we're going to watch.
The only thing I just want to straighten out with my man Al that I've been loyal to him as a teammate. And
you're the one who brought up the whole paranoid thing, not us.
I did.
I don't even know Al Michaels.
About his shifty eyes and all.
About his shifty eyes and
looking
all that
over his
kind of
shoulder.
stuff. That's exactly right. First of all, we're Al Michaels fans.
Yes.
Who's not an Al Michaels fan?
No, what you're not. You are a politician is what you are, man.
We tried to defend
him. You're going to tell me that you did not say that he was paranoid.
Absolutely not. We're trying to defend Al. We're trying to defend Al. Here you are.
Twist it all around. Go ahead, man.
Here you are. Stabbing poor old...
The guy who's been dogging me now.
Stabbing poor old Frank Gifford in the back, getting his gig. Wait till we get to the bottom of what you had to do with setting poor old Frank up, Boomer.
Oh, okay, right. And we want our 3 Buffalo ties, man. You think you can manage that?
They're on their way. Boomer size and Al Michaels. I'm the morning program.
Mr. B, it's another great...
Parodies Fan Highway Patrol.
Yeah, Imus in the morning. In your shorts, 2020 sports.
Yeah.
Bullpen breakdowns for New York. Good morning, Patrick McEnroe with sports. By the way, Charles, listen to Lori have such a sweet voice.
Absolutely.
She always just sort of makes you relax.
So totally out of place on this program. A sweet voice.
It's amazing how she just sort of rolls off your ears when she does her traffic report.
Yeah.
The normally reliable Yankee bullpen faltered in Boston last night as the Red Sox beat New York 9-7. 9 walks by the Yankee pitching staff, including 5 in the 7th. as the Sox scored 5 runs to open up a 9-5 lead. Mike Stanton walked in the winning run, and after the game, he knew where the blame lied.
This is no one's fault. It's not the umpire's fault. It's not anybody else's fault but myself. We should have won this game.
Yeah, if it wasn't for you, you probably would have won the game.
Get out.
Manager Joe Torre addressed Stanton's control problems.
He goes through these little spells of having trouble throwing a strike, but that's happened to him from time to time.
That's just what you want in a reliever. Spells of control problems. That really fits in well.
Sure does.
Now, rumors abound that the Yankees are close to a deal to acquire Detroit slugger Juan Gonzalez, who was very unhappy with the last-place Tigers. The Yanks made a move this week acquiring infielder Jose Vizcaino from the Dodgers for DH and backup catcher Jim Leyritz. Vizcaino has been acquired essentially as a late-inning defensive replacement for second baseman Chuck Knobloch, whose throwing woes do not appear to be going away anytime soon.
Good Lord.
Vizcaino talked about what it feels like to be in a Yankee uniform.
I'm going to be wearing the pinstripe, it's a privilege to be wearing, the uniform of the great organization, the games. Whatever Joe need me to do, I'll be able to do it.
Jose just wanting to be one of the guys.
That's it. Baseball has been very good to me, I understand.
Meanwhile, Jim Leyritz, who saw little time this year as a Yankee and did not produce when he did, hitting just .218, talked about his trade to the Dodgers.
I really haven't had a chance to talk to Davey or anybody yet as far as what my role is going to be.
Your role's going to be the same as it was with the Yankees, Jim. Sitting on the bench. A lot of bench time.
That's it.
Met reliever John Franco also walked in the winning run as the Mets lost their second straight to the Phillies 10-5 at Shea. Romano Benitez then served up a grand slam to Pat Burrell, and the Mets missed an opportunity to gain ground on the Braves, who lost to Chicago 8-1. Cub first baseman Mark Grace. So this was one time we did a good job out there.
If you go out and you battle like that every time out, you're going to win a lot more games than you lose.
Well, unfortunately, the Cubs are 10 games under 500.
Yeah.
St. Louis lost to San Francisco 4-1 yesterday. Garrett Stevenson took the loss for the Cards, only his third of the year. Stevenson has 9 wins for the Cardinals, and it's a big reason for their success this year, but this time did not get any help from McGuire and company. Moving on to the NBA, Lenny Wilkins has found a new home north of the border, fired as coach of the Hawks. After a miserable season, the winningest coach in NBA history lands with the talent-rich Toronto Raptors. Question is, will he be able to convince Vince Carter and especially Tracy McGrady to stay in the Great White North, or will they take off, eh? Wilkins talked about having Air Canada on his ball club.
Well, if you can't beat them, join them, and it's going to be fun having him on my side, believe me. Vince is a great player, and he not only gave us fits, he gave everybody in the league fits, and so it's going to be fun to work with a player like that.
There's a reason why Mr. Wilkins is the winningest coach in NBA history, Charles. He knows how to suck up to the superstars even before they have a practice.
There you go.
Moving to the NFL, career sacks leader turned minister Reggie White may have had enough of ministering. Apparently he wants to hit some people. Tennessean newspaper says White reportedly is interested in coming out of retirement to play for the Tennessee Titans.
Say amen.
And also in Tennessee, WWF chairman Vince McMahon announced Wednesday that Memphis will be home to one of 8 teams in the new XFL. Memphis joined Chicago as the first 2 franchises in the 8-team league.
Yeah.
The voice of the WWF, Jerry the King Lawler, said, hey, real men will play in the XFL.
A lot of people have been probably have the misconception that this is going to be wrestlers playing football. It's not going to be that. It's going to be real football players playing real football.
No, sure, Jerry. No chair throwing. No milk into the crowd, to the cameras. No sleeper holes. It'll be all real football in the XFL. I'm Patrick McEnroe, and that is sports.
All right, here now, Media Watch, a totally unsupported, unjust, and uncalled for assault of prominent media figures who populate our national information organ with chief antagonist Walter Cronkite.
And one is caused to wonder aloud. Is there no end to the infestation of weasels running amok across journalism's landscape of the lost? It seems the answer is a simple hell no. For yes, we've cited fresh tracks that appear to lead back to a particularly noxious den of dementia situated in Atlanta, Georgia, the headquarters of CNN. cable news or Clinton News Network. You decide. Incredibly, in the still roiling wake of the on-air blow-up between CNN President Rick Kaplan and CNN financial news honcho Lou Dobbs, a handmaiden of both, Tom Johnson, chairman and CEO of CNN, has risen to the bait and responded to an earlier essay here that characterized Mr. Kaplan as the world's most inept news executive, CNN as the world's worst-run news organization. Mr. Dobbs is a conflicted, mouse-like wimp for not punching Mr. Kaplan in his avocado nose at the height of their disagreement. And CNN itself as a loathsome lair of liars where truth is fiction, fiction truth, and nobody knows what the is going on. Taking exception to such portrayals, Mr. Johnson not only responded to something said on the Imus program, tending to legitimize the crazed ramblings of a defective recovering wino, he went so far as to send to Imus a transcript of that earlier Media Watch essay, as though we didn't know what we'd said. Moron. And a verbatim of unscripted comments the I-Man and his merry band of truckling sycophants made as they chortled over the Kaplan-Dobbs dissension. And all of it accompanied then by a handwritten note from the desk of Tom Johnson, a subtle scolding of the I-Man, written in the guise of bloated, overstated, nearly giddy praise for the two executives who, given their head, would gleefully tear each other's throats out. Each was a brilliant television executive, Johnson emoted. Each cared and cared deeply about excellence, Johnson wrote of Dobbs and Kaplan. Kaplan, whose team of crack journalism detectives uncovered, then retracted, then buried the fabrication of American troops using nerve gas against American troops during the Vietnam War. Both men, Johnson lectured, love their families, their work, their friends, and each has a heart of gold for people. What? No little old ladies helped across the street? No kittens pushed from the path of speeding taxis? No missions of mercy to salvage prostitutes? Please. And so the question, why would CEO Johnson bother replying to some fustian diatribe on the Don Imus program? Was it genuine concern for the descriptions here of Kaplan and Dobbs? Or was it a none too subtle attempt to try to stifle the I-Man, to intimidate, to say, by sending transcriptions of program content, that Big Brother is listening and watching? You'd do well to curtail your tongue. Well, Mr. Johnson, you'd do well to kiss my wrinkled-up old ass. Confine your concerns to telling Kaplan to get a story right and to stop leaving Barry Scheck crime scene stains on the sheets of the Lincoln bedroom. Pathetic. For Media Watch, this Walter Cronkite. Thank you and good night.
We have that hideously, insipidly ill-informed moron, Maria Schreiber, standing in the hallway with a microphone screeching at Senator McCain, who just had his ass kicked in 16 states or whatever it was. How do you feel?
Let's see, John McCain. Senator, how do you feel?
You are.
How do you feel?
Please get out of here.
please.
I'm begging you.
Please get out of here. I mean, it was just like an air. It doesn't get any better than that. Please, that's why we voted for him.
Tell your Nazi husband to get out of the country, too.
Your radio sounds funny in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
Please go away.
Please go get out of
That's the
here.
highlight of the campaign so far.
It doesn't get any better than that. Does it? I mean, honest to
Go
God.
pick your uncle up off the floor somewhere. Leave me alone, will you?
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Special announcement on Vic.
Line up better than what it is right now when you got Shane Spencer and Ricky Leday in the middle of it? I think it is. I want to thank all the callers. Great job as always. Could not do it without you. I want to thank Phil Rogers. Terrific job as always by Sweeney Murdy and Dave the Rave Cause. And everybody have an outstanding weekend. Enjoy all the baseball over the weekend. Now, the 5:30 news is brought to you by the Stars Super PAC, up to 12 different movie channels, incredibly all for about $12 a month, with subscription to digital cable on satellite TV or satellite TV availability, and the price may vary. And now here with the news, Mr. Charles McCord.
And at the top of the news this morning, Gary Graham did not go quietly to his execution last night. A Texas prison spokesman says guards had to struggle with the convicted tonight. Sunny mid-80s tomorrow, 69 degrees right now at 34 minutes past the hour.
Good morning, Dominic.
Good morning.
What's the matter?
On your Kennedy parody, you have that drowning sound blurb, and I think that's connected with a tragedy, and I don't think that particular thing should be attached. It says you may not do that with other tragedies.
Are you in your car?
Yes.
Okay, be careful.
You are everything vile and sickening.
Your radio sounds funny in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
Why would you humiliate the man?
I didn't humiliate.
By doing exactly what he was complaining about. Man, I
don't know. Is he still there? Hello?
Charles, are you there?
Yes, I am,
Could you
sir.
please blow his brains out?
Absolutely.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Tonight on The Late Show with David Letterman, don't miss Queenan Ivory.com can help you find the best e-commerce websites from online brokers to online travel agents. Before you buy online, go to Gomez.com. With Imus in the Morning Sports, I'm Sweeney Murdy.
You don't like my peaches? Don't you shake my tree? If you don't like my peaches, don't you shake my tree? That's the way I was born. That's the way it's gonna be. But I got to get out of here.
Imus in the morning.
Dodge different. Freedom.
Well, I ain't no friend of Hillary's. She ain't no friend of mine. Her husband is another who can't kiss my behind. But we're stuck with both those Clintons, and time keeps dragging on. Let white water keep on rolling, just like a rolling stone. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, don't ever be a liberal. They're all such simpletons, like to shoot that Janet Reno just to watch her die. And when I think about the cabinet, I hang my head and cry. Lloyd Benson don't remember if he was ever briefed by Gene Hansen or Josh Steiner. That nerdy Treasury chief, Roger Altman, says he never knew about the RTC. Though Margaret Williams supposedly told him it would paralyze Hillary. If they freed me from the Clintons, if this country were all mine, if these damn Whitewater hearings turned out not to be benign, I'll send those Clintons both to prison, and there they'll have to stay. Think I know now why Vince Foster, he blew himself away. Good night, everybody. Good night, Bill Clinton.
Not too many years ago, when dreams weren't coming true, I'd reach for inspiration. Sometimes it would be you. I'd hear you on the radio. I sure didn't like your sound. Say it's good to know there's still a few country boys around.
Imus in the morning.
Well, you know, it seems like the markets have been a little more fickle lately. Stocks are up one day, down the next. More you don't need them. So how do you find opportunities in times like this? Well, you just go to E-Trade. They are the #1 place to invest online. Start with their exclusive market floor.
From the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Honorable Edward M. Kennedy.
Yes, that's right. She's some intern at the White House. The story is she could suck a dead gopher through a garden hose.
Sir.
I need her name.
Sir, Senator, we're on the air.
Excuse me. Yes, indeed. Just discussing an irrigation project with a constituent. Let's move forward.
Sure.
Hello, this is Ted Kennedy. I come before you this morning as an elder statesman of the Democratic Party with a heavy heart.
I am announcing today that I am formally departing from President Clinton, his legal counsel, and various advisors over the matter before him of Paula Corbin Jones. This has been a difficult decision for me and was only reached after long and troublesome deliberation. Could I, at this point in time, ask for a little something to fortify me for the arduous message I have to deliver here today?
Do you want a back rub?
No. A little shivers, perhaps? 3 fingers, no ice? Thank you. Now then, what was I talking about?
Paula Corbin Jones.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. I am regrettably in a state of breach with my president over the litigation in which he finds himself now for 2 reasons. One, it is my view that no American shall be above the law, and we must underscore that principle. 2, I, Ted Kennedy, have, throughout a long and distinguished career of public service, been a constant champion of women's rights, standing by them in good times and standing by them when they were foundering and in danger of going down for the 3rd time. Let me correct that wording immediately. Both the phrase going down and the context in which I used it, drowning, were unfortunate. One suggests the sexual overture with which the president is accused. The other suggests the homicidal overture with which I was once accused when, during a Clinton-like beach bimbo bacchanal, I drove a young lass to drink.
Sir, to correct the record, you drove a young lass into the drink.
You recall the episode your way, I shall recall it mine. Be that as it may, now that I have had ample opportunity to review all of the facts of the case, Jones versus Clinton, and especially now that the torch has been passed from the big-haired floozy Paula to the new, softer, more feminine Paula, I am compelled to make the following assertion. Ask not what transpired between Ms. Jones and Mr. Clinton in that Little Rock hotel room. Ask, rather, if I can get in on it. For while she still doesn't make my knees knock, there is the matter of the nose that could open canned hams. She has a heartbeat and normal body temperature, which is all that's necessary to qualify as a Kennedy woman. Yes, I am on your side, Paula, in your struggle against the oral office and the predator of the United States. Thank you. Did you get that intern babe's name? Oh, and this drink is watery, by the way.
Your drink's what, Senator?
Watery. The damned ice is melted. It's watery. It needs... Oh, mother...
And here now on line 4 is Dennis from Boston.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. Guess who popped up on Boston television last night?
I don't know.
Your brother.
Really?
Yes.
How did that happen?
He was with Barnacle doing Barnacle's show, Chronicle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when's he going to wash your Jeep?
When's he going to do what?
Wash your Jeep.
What was the matter with my Jeep?
It was filthy.
Oh, well, I don't know.
There are a lot of homosexuals in Santa Fe.
Are there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of going out there, but I got reservations now.
Well, that shouldn't... Well, I mean, I go out there all the time. That shouldn't preclude you from going out there.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. I was in San Francisco one time in the early 70s when the gays were making their presence known. And I was talking to a fire captain. He said you wouldn't believe the strange things that happen when they come on the police and fire department. You know?
Yeah.
He said they got a call at the firehouse. Engines all went down to the fire. He got down there, he was checking it out. He went into the area, and he saw these 2 firemen. They were in what you might call a compromising position.
Is this going to be some idiotic, stupid joke, Dennis?
No, this is a true story.
Oh, no.
Come on, man.
Go ahead.
So the fire captain yelled at him, hey, what are you guys doing? And the fireman yelled back. He said, I'm trying to revive him, Lieutenant. And he says, that's not how you do it. You're supposed to use mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Fireman says, I know. That's how it all started.
Pretty good, Dennis.
You heard that before?
No, I hadn't heard it.
You're an idiot. Jesus, God almighty.
I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, gonna try with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my
Imus in the morning.
talk to you now about Fujifilm, sponsor the T1 line.
That's a look at sports. This is John Minko.
Other NBA news, Chris Webber of the Wizards had to be subdued by police yesterday with pepper spray after a routine traffic violation turned into a mess for the star power forward.
You sure they had the right Chris Webber?
Webber pulled over for speeding, but that turned into 1, assaulting a police officer, 2, resisting arrest, and 3, driving under the influence of marijuana. Kind of like a triple-double for Webber. So congratulations.
So they shouldn't have changed the name from the Washington Bullets to the Wizards after all. They had it right the first time.
Joe Queenan is here. He is the author of Red Lobster, White Trash, Blue Lagoon, which we're going to talk about in a minute. It's going to be out in July? Right?
July.
Okay. What else, Breen?
NFL news, the Super Bowl, of course, approaching. Broncos against the Packers. One of our NFL reporters in San Diego covering the big game for us is NFL reporter Steve Cohen. And Cohen filed this report on the head coach of the Denver Broncos.
Mike Shanahan has coached in 4 Super Bowls, 3 with Denver and 1 with the 49ers. Covering Super Bowl 32, Steve Cohen's...
Thank you, Steve. We'll have more from Cohen throughout the week as the big game approaches.
Beat up the Jew today, right?
Of course, it was media day yesterday. One of the better questions posed was to Bronco offensive lineman Gary Zimmerman, who was asked if he's the only Jewish player in the NFL. Zimmerman politely explained that he's not Jewish and couldn't answer the question properly, but usual chaos and circus atmosphere yesterday in San Diego. In tennis, women at the Australian Open, Venus Williams beats her 16-year-old sister Serena, beat her handily in straight sets.
Fine.
But Venus, though, said she and her sister will have great careers.
Me and my baby, we gonna shine.
There's some nice sentiment from 17-year-old Venus Williams, who
really are just a mindless nitwit.
To the 3rd round of the Australian Open.
Be on the Daily Show on a comedy channel.
And that's sports. I'm Mike Breen.
Joe Queenan is here. We're talking to him about, well, everything. We're talking about this, a little bit about this. Do you want to talk about your book at all?
No, not yet.
Okay, good. All right, good.
But you know what I do want to talk about?
What?
This Korean bailout. Just in a hurry.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
And you know what? About a year and a half ago, I bought a television. And I didn't buy a Japanese television. I bought a Korean television because a friend of mine said, it was good television and everything. I went and bought it. About $250.
What is a Korean television? What brand?
Samsung. Never worked.
Okay.
Brought it home. Worked for about a week. Broke. Took it back. Got it fixed. Took it back. Got it fixed. This has gone on for like 18 months. The thing never works. Had it repaired 4 times. They won't take it back. So we're going to give $60 billion to the Koreans to bail out their economy. Well, give me my $250 first and give them like $59 billion. Screw them, really. I mean, the whole economy is based on, defective consumer products. Give the money to Japan. They make good stuff.
Why doesn't Japan help them, though? They could, couldn't they?
Yeah, they have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Does anybody understand anything about why Japanese people do what they do? I mean, why do they dress like that?
No, I was most surprised to see, and I should have known this and known you for years, that you write about financial things, but they're very confusing to me. So.
Yeah, well, but I mean, with the Japanese, nobody has ever understood why they do what they do.
How did you feel about Sonny Bono dying?
Bad.
Did you? Why?
Because my theory is if enough people die, eventually they'll get to somebody that you're sorry to see go. Which is because we were losing a lot of people last month that I didn't care about.
Yeah.
My father died last month.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, my father died right around Christmas. And
how old was he?
72. And he smoked his entire life. So he got actuarially, he got a good run. But with Sonny Bono, people always joked about his political career, but anybody can be a politician.
Yeah.
But he wrote rock songs. Newt Gingrich could not turn around and retire from the Congress and put on one of those bearskin vests and have those bangs and write, the songs that he did with Cher.
He actually made some great records. Now, it could have been because he hung around with Phil Spector, probably was, and he used some of the same musicians that Phil Spector used. I mean, Hal Blaine was a great drummer that he used on Baby Don't Go, which was in the Beat Goes On. But I mean, as I think I heard you say or I read someplace, which was a great point, and that was that anybody can be a congressman, but not anybody can write. I mean, it seems like it's a simple process, but it's difficult to write a hit pop song. I mean, some of them are stupid, but it's not,
And not just that, but when you come to the end of the 20th century and you make a list of all the important people in American history, for the 20th century, you're going to have like 3 politicians, and Clinton isn't going to be one of them.
No.
You're going to have FDR and maybe like Wilson and Teddy Roosevelt. But most of the people who are going to be remembered as having contributed something to the society were people like Duke Ellington, or John Coltrane, cultural figures, or rock stars, Chuck Berry, people like that. Sonny Bono's got way more points on the scoreboard than your average congressman or your average mayor or even your average governor or president. I mean, he wrote good songs. He made people feel good. And they were good songs. Those songs he did with Cher were good.
No.
And then he was good on the TV show. You know, he was funny. He was a funny guy. It was like the fact that he could get Chastity, Cher, and Newt Gingrich in that chapel at the same time. That is a fantastic. I mean, that just goes to show that the guy had a kind of charisma that, that we don't normally say. I mean, you wouldn't get a lineup like that at Woody Allen's funeral.
He started out, Sonny Bono, as a record promoter. Well, I mean, he started out driving a meat truck, I guess. But when I first met him, which was, I don't know, 1960 or 61, I think he was promoting records for Phil Spector, and may have been doing some stuff for Atlantic Records along with John Fisher and stuff.
And there's that story about him in that book that came out about Phil Spector about 5 or 6 years ago, where the test was Spector would remix the thing until he thought it was right, and then he would call Sonny in and he'd say, is it dumb enough? And if it was dumb enough, they would release it. Now, I don't know if that's a true story, but just the fact that Sonny Bono was in the same room as Phil Spector.
Yeah, well.
You know, I mean, Newt Gingrich was in the same room as George Bush. Who cares?
Well,
Phil Spector's been a lot more important.
I remember seeing Sonny Bono and Phil Spector run around Hollywood wearing long hair before the Beatles did.
It was bad hair. You've got to say that.
Didn't look neat.
The hair never worked for Sonny. At the end, he got it together, but the hair never worked.
But then Jesus had long hair before the Beatles. Right,
yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Did you see the thing today in the New York Post that Peter, Paul, and Mary are making a 2-record CD?
Don't tell me
including Kumbaya. Okay, there's a picture of it right here. Look at that. Now, what zip code or planet are they on that they haven't gotten the word yet? You know, how are they so impervious? I mean, the verdict is in. The public has spoken. The market has spoken. Stop it. Knock it off. Go away. Didn't you see Animal House? I mean, it's just stop.
It's over, yeah.
It's been over. It's so over.
Are you fake, just like a woman? Yes, do you make love just like a woman? Yes, you do, then you ache just like a woman. But you break just like a little girl. Imus in the morning.
You're sitting in a hospital. Worse, you're sitting in a hospital.
We're here at the...
Be considered obese. Right. Are you straight on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen the Vanity Fair photographs yet of Monica Lewinsky?
No.
I don't know about you, but if you're asking me, there is a gal in crisis, and it doesn't have a thing to do with giving the president jobs. No, Monica's crisis has much more to do with being able to successfully pass a Dove Bar vending cart without hijacking the thing. I don't care how much mascara and eyeshadow they ladle on America's favorite office intern. That lady is a load.
Wow.
Did you see her new look? Be honest now. When you saw Rosie O'Donnell waddle onto the stage to preside over the Tonys in New York City the other night, weren't you thinking, my God, first Dolly the Sheep, now they've cloned Monica Lewinsky, or Webb Hubble, or both. William Ginsburg, the erstwhile defender of Monica, thought he was so smart getting this Vanity Fair layout for her. But Bill, a beach shoot? Isn't that just inviting all of those unfortunate marine mammal cracks?
Well.
You know, look, Mom, they're freeing Willie. Anyway, the way they calculate this new weight standard index is unnecessarily complicated, seems to me. If I have this straight, you multiply your weight in kilograms times your height in meters squared.
Right.
After first converting pounds to kilograms and your height in inches to meters, then eventually you come up with something called your BMI, or body mass index, and it's supposed to be 25 or under.
Sure.
Or, of course, if you're Monica, you can just eat your calculator, look at the label on your dress, scrape the stains away, and when you see a size figure there that looks like a license plate, you can safely conclude, I'm a beast. But, dear Monica, not the most odious beast.
Oh, no.
No, we've reserved that honor for an individual whose mere footfalls could now start an avalanche. With the possible exception of Ted Kennedy, step right up and shake trunks, with the fattest human being ever recorded by medical science, Rick Kaplan, president of CNN, whose BMI calculation would stump Stephen Hawking, for crying out loud. Judging from a photograph of Rick I saw in the paper the other day, it only showed Rick from about mid-chest up, but believe me, that was enough. Rick Kaplan's head is now the size of a pedestal sink. There is so much excess adipose flesh hanging in folds from his jowls and neck, it looks like some mad plastic surgeon gave him accordion implants. Makes you wonder, doesn't it, about this proximity to the president phenomenon being such a hazard?
Oh, yeah.
Monica's a moose, and in jeopardy, as you know, because of her involvement with Mr. Clinton. And Rick, because he's tall, is more of a Godzilla, I guess, and a laughing stock because of his intimacy with the Clinton folk.
Sure.
Lesson, whether it's virtual or actual, don't go down on Bubba. Excuse me, Miss Lewinsky, is that your BMI reading, or the distance between the Earth and the Sun?
Now I'm just a bartender, and I don't like my work. But I don't mind.
We couldn't be happier with the results. Our first priority is to help you avoid accidents altogether, which is why every Subaru comes standard with full-time all-wheel drive. So stop by your Subaru dealer today and test drive the car that got the highest crash test rating and left its competitors a little bent out of shape. Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive.
See your local Subaru dealer, where you'll find all-wheel drive on every vehicle we make. And tell them Paul Hogan sent you.
You know what I did today? I bought a container of milk. That may not seem like a big deal, but I'm on chemotherapy. And until recently, I was too tired to get out of bed, let alone drive to the store. I thought I'd have to live with the fatigue as long as I was on chemo. I was wrong.
Are you a chemotherapy patient? Do you feel tired and weak? You may be anemic. Ask your doctor about Procrit. Procrit is a natural way to regain red blood cells lost during chemotherapy. And more red blood cells can mean more strength. Over 1 million people have been treated with Procrit. It's safe and effective. In trials, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo. Procrit is for patients with non-myeloid cancers and can only be prescribed by your doctor. To learn more, see our ad in Coping Magazine, visit Procrit.com, or call 1-800-722-3558. That's 1-800-722-3558.
This afternoon, I think I'll bake some cookies. I need something to go with the milk.
That's it. Tie him up there. Now take off his blindfold and undo the gag. Tony, I didn't know. I promise no one told me. Now you listen, and you listen good, you hear? If you want the best legit selection of DVD movies, the greatest games, and now even music, you gotta log on to Express.com. Tony, I'm sorry, man. Now say it. Say it. Express.com. Movies, games, music, and more. At the largest selection on the internet. Overnight delivery. And the gentle custom service. Hey, that's good. That's real freaking good. Now get him out of here.
Express.com. DVDs, music, and games. Now you know. Shop now and receive over $200 in online savings from Adidas, Planet RX, Wine.com, Fusion.com, Mammoth Golf, Art.com, Kitchen Collection, and more.
You wouldn't dream of getting married after just 1 or 2 dates, right? So why would you commit to a full-time job after just a couple of interviews? Account Temps is for qualified accountants who want to see how a company runs before accepting a permanent position. Let our specialized staffing managers introduce you to the best companies and get you the best pay. Many of our temporary assignments turn into great full-time jobs. You just may get an offer you can't refuse. Account Temps is the leader in specialized financial staffing. Visit AccountTemps.com or call us today. Go around the table. I'll block the door.
Got him.
All right, Timmy, open up. It's for your own good. You'll feel better.
Allergy season hits children pretty hard. Treating kids' allergies can be just as hard.
Hold it still. I'm going to spill it.
But now there's new cherry allergy cold Fast Melt from Benadryl. Fast Melt tablets quickly dissolve on the tongue, so you can...
Randy Travis and the Beach Boys. Call 201-825-9100 with reports every 20 minutes. I'm Joe Tollison, WFAN 2020 Sports.
And we're back, 718-937-66.
of you saw Dr. Joseph Della Russo perform LASIK surgery on TV, and if you...
Hello, I love you, won't you tell me your name? Imus in the morning.
All right, let me talk to you now about Rush Limbaugh. Good morning, Rush.
Yo, 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 Rush is in the house. No, let me correct myself. Newt is in the house. Literally. Well, my name is Fresh Rush with the mic in my hand, chillin' and coolin' like a conservative snowman, here to address all the controversy over Dole's alleged snubbing of the NAACP. Forgive me if the rhymes I bust don't come to me so easy, but that greasy little queasy did something pretty slazy. A little hip-hop on the hustings, my friends, from the EIB, to attract the attention of African Americans who otherwise would not be drawn to my brilliant observations.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I've always said, you have a message you want all the homies in the hood to hear, put a beat behind it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be inflammatory, but I'm incensed at Bob Dole's being portrayed as a racist pariah for his perceived rebuff of the NAACP convention. The truth is, this tempest in a 40-ounce was deliberately designed to discredit the Republican candidate for president. Dole was ambushed. Let me rephrase that. Bob Dole was sandbagged by the NAAA, as it should be called if the term colored people is as politically incorrect as we are led to believe. They specifically extended an invitation, knowing full well it would put him in a damned do, damned don't dichotomy. Pass up the event and be branded as a minority-insensitive candidate. Attend and be toppled over as the Statue of Liberty is in the movie Independence Day. Let's face it, Republicans have not had all that stellar a history when appearing at the annual meeting. Why, it was a mere unlucky 13 years ago when then Vice President Bush, attempting to paint President Reagan as a homeboy at heart, went over about as well as a Mantovani record on Soul Train. One cannot fault the senator for passing up the opportunity to place himself in such a precarious position.
Well.
This was nothing more than a liberal firing squad, initiated by Wheezy Jefferson Imfume, who was apparently brought with him all the baggage he had when he was the head of the Black Caucus.
Pardon me?
Well, Mr. Imfume was prevented from putting Senator Dole's bags in the trunk of a car that was wired to blow up. Such evasionary tactics should be applauded, as they only serve to further illustrate how service in the United States military is crucial for any presidential candidate. Senator Dole may not have attended the NAACP convention, but he did show his support for black Americans by showing up at the All-Star game.
Shut up.
But know full well that if the season hadn't already ended, he would have been courtside for the NBA playoffs.
How is this helpful, Rush?
Hopefully not at all.
Here now, the President of the United States, Bill Clinton.
I beg your pardon. I never promised you a full pardon. I know you're confined, but y'all are gonna have to do some time. Didn't mean to throw a curve, but you may have to serve just a few. We made a bargain, but I never promised you a full pardon. I appreciate the fact you didn't overreact and give me up the Kenneth Star on a silver platter in the Whitewater matter. And if it were up to me, you'd get partiality. Still, I don't think my friends Jim and Susan McDougal will need them visits conjugal. But smile for a while, cause you're connected. You've got a friend who's been re-elected. Going to avoid impeachment if I can. Now, I beg your pardon, but I'm doing the White House Rose Garden. That fat Webb Hubble, I could have told you he would be trouble. Hey, Webb, how you like that halfway house? Think now you can stop halfway to your mouth with that sandwich? Beg your pardon? I never promised you a full pardon. But down in Arkansas, if you're gonna break the law, you're gonna take a fall like Governor Jim got Tucker. And now his cellmate's saying pucker. Gotta look before you leap, Whitewater runs deep. It's a good thing I had you guys there to pull me out beyond a reasonable doubt. gotta do for Hillary. And when she goes to prison, I'd like her to stay there. So I beg your pardon. But I never promised you a full pardon. I know you're confined, but everybody's gotta do sometime. Pardon me? Pardon you? Well, what's in it for me? I beg your pardon? Go, baby.
On July the 2nd, 1953, I was serving time for armed robbery. At 4 o'clock in the morning, I was sleeping in my cell. I heard a whistle blow, then I heard somebody yell.
Imus in the morning.
Catch all the fireworks today on The Fan with our holiday baseball doubleheader. First up, it's the Mets and Marlins at 4:05 with Mets Extra at 3:30. Join me, Gary Cohen, along with Bob Murphy for all the play-by-play. Then at 8, stay with us for the Diamondbacks and Astros from Houston's Enron Field. It's a great way to celebrate the 4th with our holiday doubleheader exclusively on Sports Radio 66 WFAN, New York.
It's your big Fly Right. With reports every 20 minutes, I'm Joe Tholleson, WFAN 2020 Sports.
It's New York Sports Talk every day with Susan Waldman and Jody Mack from 10 to 1. Mike and the Mad Dog from 1 to 6:30. Steve Summers in the nighttime and Joe Beningo in the overnight. Here on The Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York.
What? We are getting pulled over? An army general who staged a military coup. MTV videotaped them to find out what happens when they stop being polite and start getting real.
Who shut up is like on such a total power trip. I'm like, you're fired. You're like so out of here, it's not even funny. And he's like, oh yeah? You're grounded, and I'm putting armed guards outside your house. Now what?
Real world, Pakistan.
I mean, like, I'm the Prime Minister. Doesn't that count for anything?
Islamabad airport is closed. Military troops have seized the Central TV building. And General Musharraf's got Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif under house arrest.
He accuses me of systematically destroying state institutions and driving the economy towards collapse. Well, he ate my aloo samosa. I had it in the refrigerator with some vegetable curry and tandoori chicken, and he just took it. That's so disrespectful.
You thought Puck was bad? Everybody hates Nawaz, and Sharif don't like it.
Okay, I know I'm not all that popular, and maybe it wasn't very cool of me to fire Moshe when he was over in Sri Lanka, but that's the ABCs of me, baby. Deal.
Nawaz Sharif is in the house.
Locked in the house is more like it.
General Musharraf is outside with a gun.
You say I'm on a power trip just because I tried to weaken the provincial government? Well, what do you call all those turban-wearing dudes outside with the rifles?
Real world, Pakistan.
If you don't put down your weapons, you are so busted, it's not even funny.
You know I can't be found sitting home all alone. If you can't come around, at least please telephone. Don't be cruel to who heart is true. Baby, if I made you mad for something I might have said, please forget my past. The future looks bright ahead. Don't be cruel to who heart is true. I don't want no other love, baby. It's just you I'm thinking of.
Imus in the morning.
Well, it seems like the markets have been a little more fickle lately. Now, Imus Washington Senior Military Affairs Advisor, the late General George S. Patton, Jr.
At ease, as you were, bacteria. I have called you miserable, God-forsaken, contemptible, scurvy-ridden rodents here today, not because you make me sick, which you do, but because we face a crisis, lads. A crisis at the highest levels of our chain of command. Gentlemen, I'll be blunt. One of the individuals who would become our next commander-in-chief is a sissy boy.
Oh, my God, no, say
At ease,
no.
at ease. I understand how difficult this fact is for you to hear, but it is a fact. Private, give me a man's solution to the lighting in here, and let's have us a picture show. Cease fire! Cease fire! Impressive weapons work, Private. Maybe you ought to run for office. Anyway, lads, roll out the overhead projector, There you go. And give me slide A. Gentlemen, you are looking at the figure of fear who is our principal today. A man whose penchant for turning the other cheek and refusing to pound some enemy ass is a matter of deepest concern. Does anybody recognize this person? Yes, Private?
Sir, the gangly frame, the ill-fitting suit, the red tie bearing the evidence of 1,000 chicken dinners, the angular face with the soft, hesitant, enervated eyes, the sagging, whipped dog shoulder set, but most of all, the neck that looks like it has a shower curtain hanging off of it or something. What the hell is that, sir? Did he swallow a pelican? Anyway, the private believes the general is projecting a photograph of Bill Bradley, sir.
And right you are, Private. Bill Bradley, for whom, believe me, the Bradley fighting vehicle was not named. Because, while certainly not a coward, this man nevertheless would pet a bunny on you. Gentlemen, this is Bill Bradley, a man who wants to be our president, commander of all of our armed forces, the man who could be called on to face down Osama bin Laden, and he won't face down Al Gore. This is Bill Bradley, whose presidential candidacy was just endorsed by the Boston Herald in an editorial that referred to running for president as hand-to-hand combat, a little reality that appears to have been utterly lost on the former senator and current pansy from New Jersey. When, boys, is this good man going to straighten his backbone and get into the fight, rather than rolling over like a bathhouse butt boy every time Gore says the Bradley health care plan calls for shoving old people in front of freight trains, or something equally asinine out of that lying, two-faced, Clinton-enabling fraud? It is full metal jacket time, lads. Time for Bradley to tie Tobacco Boy to the most scandal-ridden administration in our history. It's not exactly like we don't have any ammo. Roll out Johnny Chum and Charlie Tree and the Buddhist monks and no controlling legal authority. Roll out the blowjob issue and the Juanita Broderick rape. Load up Filegate, the travel office, and everything else that happened on the Clinton-Gore watch. For God's sake, roll out the fact that they impeached the son of a bitch. This is war, boys, and by definition, what is war?
War is hell, sir.
I can't hear you.
War is hell, sir.
What are you, Bill Bradley campaign aides? Sound off like you had a pair.
War is hell, you default!
There! You bet it is. Join in, maggots. What we need to hear from Bradley over the nominating process din. Somebody cover my back, boys. I'm going in. Thank you for your attention. That is all.
So I go to the Department of Motor Vehicles yesterday with Deirdre. She has to get her license renewed.
Yeah.
What a nightmare.
Yep.
The amusing part to watch is the inordinately fat people who work there, who try to maneuver themselves around their workstations in the back of the counter, which is actually laughable. Deirdre's number 333, so she finally gets called. And she knows she's in trouble when she walks up to the counter and there's this 300-pound moose sitting there and looks at her and says, "What do you want?" They're fat, surly, and they stink at the DMV.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
They hate Deirdre when she's blonde and pretty. They hate her when she walks up to the window.
Can I help you, bitch?
Yeah, absolutely. That is not an exaggeration. What you want, bitch?
Get your breasts off the counter. I see them.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
No.
We need more piano in that, I think.
You know, Mark Anthony was in it. We like him.
Yeah, but great.
He played one of the murderers.
Did you?
We were supposed to like.
Did you ever find the CD?
Yeah, but from what I remember, I don't think we could air much of it.
Really?
Yeah, because it's kind of raw, if you get my drift.
I don't think so.
Okay, I remember a couple of tunes coming out of the jukebox that were questionable for air.
Well, tell me what they were, and I'll remember. I listened to the album a few times.
I'll go through it again.
Okay, you don't even remember where we were on Friday.
Shut up.
Shut up.
No, were they?
Well, I remember every track had some questionable things, but I have to listen to it again. Adios, hermanos.
Name the songs for
I'm
me.
naming them. Adios, hermanos.
Adios, gringos.
Yeah.
Born in Puerto Rico.
Right.
Satin Summer Nights.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Satin Summer Nights. You can play Satin Summer Nights. And if there's something in it, aren't we working in delay?
Okay.
Press a button.
Okay. You want to play that?
Yeah, let's listen to a little bit of it. As I remember, it was great. Okay. I don't think there's
young Puerto Ricans screaming at white people and screaming epithets at white people in this song. I don't think.
Is nice.
Let me hear this. Okay. It's good. Well, remember, we thought this was good, right?
I've been sleeping on the roof of my building. It's cooler than the street. I've been watching the setting sun as it bounces off the avenue, turning into gold dust at my feet. Carlos and Yolanda dancing in the hallway to an old melody. Spanish eyes and soft brown curls. My love, come to me. I believe I'm in the power of St. Lazarus, and he holds me in his sight. I know that these jitterbug days I'm living, well, they won't last for all of us, but they'll last for a long summer night. Whoa, I can feel the fire in her eyes tonight.
That doesn't have a... Well, that's either Paul Simon or Mark Anthony, or both of them.
It's Mark Anthony.
Right.
No, there were some good songs in this thing. Just unfortunate, it was unfortunate. It's about Puerto Rican kids stabbing white kids. It's not a good idea.
How about if they made a musical about those guys who dragged the black guys behind the car?
I understand. No, we're not suggesting that it was a bad idea that we couldn't convince. Well, we Mr. Simon that we couldn't.
Tonight's the night I stabbed me a wife.
But I mean, if we like Paul Simon, which we do, and we like Paul Simon songs, it had great potential, I thought. Remember, I tried to support it, but I went to see it, and the first act was actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. But then the second act, it was a bit irritated you. It was so awful. And that was after Jerry got involved.
Right.
So... Well, Jerry's acts is directed House of Blue Leaves, Lend Me a Tenor, Anything Goes, the front page, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, Guys and Dolls, Swing, which is currently at the St. James Theater, 6 Degrees of Separation, Smokey Joe's Cafe, and the Civil War. Mm-hmm. Well,
the what?
The Civil War.
Was that a musical?
Yeah, so you remember that was about,
Oh, that's right. It was out there for a couple of weeks. Wait a second. Jerry's choking me here.
Mr. Zaks apparently acted in the original production of Grease in 1974, which I actually saw. So...
He tap danced in Grease?
I don't know. We'll ask you. What did you do in Grease, Jerry? Did you sing?
Did you sing, Jerry?
Yeah. I sang Greased Lightning.
Oh, you did?
I was incredible.
You were. Well, I don't think we can be hammering Jerry over the Civil War, do you?
No, not against that.
Or how come you don't have the Cape Man down here, Jerry?
Forgot about that.
Oversight.
Well, it was an oversight, yeah. There's a lot of,
This is a high percentage. Come on, this is
a couple things didn't work out, and...
You ground out once in a while.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. You got to take a shot.
Look at the batting average.
Exactly.
There you go.
That's what you have to do.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, Jerry Zaks is going to do sports on our program tomorrow.
If he doesn't stab me first.
Hallelujah, if you be my bodyguard, I can be your long-lost pal. So, I can call you Betty. Betty, when you call me, Imus in the morning.
The Dow is up.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66 WFAN. They're talking sports, going at it as hard as they can. It's Mike and the Mad Dog on the fan. Nothing can get by 'em. Turn it on and try 'em. Mike and the Mad Dog, WFAN.
nice to have you with us on this Wednesday in New York, 5th day of July, the year 2000. Lots going on in the world of sports. Haven't spoken to you for about 3 or 4 days. We can do a lot of recapping and previewing today. Jones Ginn and Chris Kohler. Mike still has the vacation day. Be back with us tomorrow when we do our radio program from the ESPN zone, getting ready for the Mets-Yankees Act 2. The 4-game series begins Friday night at Shea, so we'll spend a lot of time on that as we chat with you about the world of sports. Well, last time we had a chance to say hello, it was that Friday night late when we had Justice and Al
jumps out at them.
The whole world thinks I'm just a pena. They all want me, they can't get me. Hey, Baba Clinton, why don't you bite me? Remove me, can't stop me. I gotta go to make love with me. The beast in the east who could not be profana. It's a camel humping heathen, not a Saddam Hussein. Doing the dance that they call a la carena. Hey, la carena. Saddam Hussein is an insane dictator. Tries to throw his weight around, but he's just a second-rater. Soon where he stands, there will only be a crater. Hey, la carena. No, I'm not worried about your Baba. He don't think that I mean business. I don't like him, couldn't stand him. And his wife, well, now that's one woman who should be wearing a veil. Maybe the great Satan can show her a thing or two about what it is to be subservient. Beast in the east who could not be profana. It's a camel hopping heathen or a Saddam Hussein. Doing the dance that they call a la carena. Hey, la carena. Saddam Hussein is an insane dictator. Tries to throw his weight around, but he's just a second-rater. Soon where he stands, there will only be a crater. Hey, la carena. Hey, you know what my favorite flavor ice cream is? The Rocky Road. I am not trying to seduce you. You know what my favorite song is? Iraqi Raccoon. My favorite cartoon show, Iraqi and Bullwinkle. Am I annoying you? You don't like us sand monkeys. Just wait until you start paying $15 a gallon for gas. Come and get me, my name's Saddam Hussein, and I can't make it any plainer. I'm big cheese on your knees, and I'll do what I damn well please. Beast in the east who could not be profana. It's a camel humping heathen or a Saddam Hussein. Doing the dance that they call a la carena. Hey, la carena. Saddam Hussein is an insane dictator. Tries to throw his weight around, but he's just a second-rater. Soon where he stands, there will only be a crater. Hey, la carena.
Saddam Hussein here in the Amsterdam Park. 7 minutes till the hour. Line 2, Louis, the Puerto Rican from Cloister, New Jersey. Good morning, Louis.
Hi, Amos. How are you?
I'm fine, baby. How are you?
Very good. Listen, I was watching that 48-hour show.
No.
And I saw you with knee pads, and I got chills on my back. Well, what's up with the knee pads?
Well, when I'm out taking photographs,
yeah,
I always shoot real low. And always from a tripod.
Your wife don't want the knees to get dirty, I guess, huh?
No, it hurts when you kneel down on your knees in the rocks and stuff. So I always wear knee pads.
Well, if it hurts, you should have told Mr. Rod to be more careful.
You're an idiot.
Hey, they come in handy for burglaries too.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I'm in.
Don't you have to leave now to go out and try to start your car?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Oh, that was low.
I know it was. I apologize.
But you should wear knee pads next time you say that joke.
So what do you do for a living?
I am a carpet installer for Perfect Cut Carpet in Bergen, New Jersey, and we are loyal listeners to your show.
How's that working out for you, baby?
It's working out fine, no problems.
Okay.
I also went with Mike Francesa to the World Series game. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
Well,
how was that?
That was excellent. Well, he eats a lot of hot dogs, but cost me more money on food than the ticket, but that was okay.
How many hot dogs did he eat?
Well, about 15. Keep on going. I actually missed the whole show just by going to get the hot dogs, you know.
Did they bring him around or anything? You had to go get him.
Well, he likes a certain way, so I had to go and stand up online and everything, you know. But he's the greatest anyway.
He is a good guy, isn't he?
You know, he looked like Elvis Presley.
Who does?
Mike Francesa, about Elvis Presley on the older days, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, right toward the end there. Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, this is Elvis Presley. I guess the first thing people want to know is why I can't stand still when I'm singing. Some people tap their feet, some people snap their fingers, and some people just sway back and forth. I just sort of do them all together, I guess. Singing rhythm and blues really knocks it out. I watch my audience and listen to them, and I know that we're all getting something out of our system, and none of us knows what it is. The important thing is that we're getting rid of it, and nobody's getting hurt.
Imus in the morning.
All right, let me talk to you now about a poem for
How nice.
Mike Breen. Miss Angela?
How y'all doing?
Fine.
Just wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, let's go. Breen's the radio voice of the Nairobi Knicks. Sees them mugging and thugging and getting they kicks. Your team sucks, Marv bites, you stupid white boy. But a big happy birthday to Pat Ewing's boy toy.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Get these flies away from me. Hey,
My Angelou here, the I'm Still Morning program.
my cheese doodles at.
Fine, you don't have any cheese doodles.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Nervous hospital. Billy Bob Thornton.
I reckon you want to know what I think about all these crazy people running around lately. Well, I reckon that crazy is one of them relative terms. Not like your brother, not relative like that. But some people is crazier than others. Like that crazy fellow I thought there was a spaceship in that comet. Cut his nuts off. Some people say he ain't as big a nut log as that feller John DuPont. Some people call him a paranoid schizophrenic. I call him a nut log. That DuPont fella used to drive around his estate in a tank, saying he was the Dalai Lama. Then got upset and shot this wrestler. Defense lawyer feller said he was delusional. Prosecutor said he was in one of them queer boy rages. Anyways, I reckon DuPont killed that poor wrestler feller. Got convicted. Gonna spend a few years in the nervous hospital for it. Better than going to jail, I guess. 'Cause you walk around a prison saying you're the Dalai Lama, you're gonna spend a lot of time in the shower picking up soap. But in a nervous hospital, you say you're the Dalai Lama, you could wind up with 4 or 5 devoted followers. Although I reckon if he did kill that wrestler feller in one of them queer boy rages, he'd prefer being in the prison, picking up that soap.
We're talking with Tom Brokaw from the NBC Nightly News. Were we trying out David Bloom last night as the new White House?
No, we're not trying him out. He's been appointed.
Well, that must have torqued off Miklashevsky, huh?
We have other plans for Jim Miklashevsky. He's going to go over and do some work for us at the Defense Department, and he's going to be doing some kind of at-large work in the nation's capital, and he is really one of the very best reporters down there.
And really it probably came down to who you could introduce more easily, right?
That's right. He also happens to have 5 more vowels and 9 more syllables in his name that I like.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Listen, I have one final question. You've seen Sling Blade, right?
Yes, sir.
You know those scenes in the shop where they repair the small motors and Scooter and the guys are sitting around eating French fried potatoes and so on. Were they shot on location at the Autobody Express?
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN. Keep listening for your chance to win Mets-Yankees Subway Series tickets.
Sacramento WFAN 2020 Sports.
In the nighttime, it's Mets baseball. And when you wake up, it's Imus in the morning here on The Fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
At 4:22, let's check the Reuters Span Highway Patrol. Here's Jennifer Fogarty.
All right, Rich and Lincoln Todd.
Nice to see.
It's been a long time. You're just as lovely as you used to be.
Imus in the morning.
This is the Imus in the Morning radio program, WFAN New York and Infinity Broadcasting.
Here now on the Imus in the Morning program, Bill Clinton and Hillary Rodham Clinton. Sing a song, girl.
They say we're sly and devious, so arrogant and supercilious.
Well, I don't think that all that's true. At least not with me, so maybe they mean you.
Babe, I got you, babe. I got you, babe. They say you won't be president if they can prove that we've been fraudulent.
Yeah, well, that's just another right-wing plot that won't pan out unless we both get caught. Babe, I got you, babe. I got you, babe. I got flowers and Paula Jones and a few illegal loans.
Election day, when Noel has lost, I want you to say who's really the boss. Well, I don't care if you inhale, 'cause someday I might need you to post bail.
If you should hear talk about who I've been, please don't throw no more ashtrays at my head. I'm begging you.
Babe,
I got you, babe. I got you, babe. I got you to deny for me.
I got you to lie for me.
I got you for another four.
I got news for Albert Gore.
I got executive privilege.
I've got the keys to lock the fridge.
Oh, yeah? Well, then I got things to tell the feds.
Try it, and you'll end up dead.
Well, that wouldn't be a threat, would it? Oh, I got you. I got you, babe. Well, actually, I got a few babes. I got a few babes.
You'd have to have a pretty big old set of cojones there to make these allegations, one, and then to show up at the deposition and walk in the room and sit down across the table, if you're Paula Corbin Jones, from the President of the United States and look him in the eye if you're lying. But this whole thing could have waited.
Hold it.
Yeah.
Could have waited for what? Isn't there a principle in this country that no person, man or woman, is above the law?
Yes.
Isn't there something called justice delayed is justice denied?
Yes, but I mean, she wouldn't have said anything if her name had to. Just
here
her
we
first
go.
name
Here we
appeared
go.
as what?
Well, I absolutely. I mean, here we are. Here we go. Okay. It's Stephanopoulos in the morning Exactly. over here.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Delayed nothing. Absolutely not. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's just absurd.
If this were a situation
What?
where Dole were president,
Brian?
and these allegations have been made against him, you two would have a completely different story, wouldn't you?
It's a very different situation.
No pattern of behavior.
Very different
He's a war hero.
Bob Dole.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Here at the Merrill Auditorium with a number of votes. Did y'all have to pay to get in? Oh, you didn't? It's $10 to get out, though. I don't know that yet. Well, they raised a bunch of money for charity yesterday in Bangor, Maine, which is also a nice little town, isn't it? Okay, what else going on?
Just to recap quickly, Missouri executing Alan Bannister, the convicted murderer whose case had become a rallying point for death penalty opponents. Ed Asner.
Well, is there
people
some
like
question that he didn't do this? Or?
Well, I guess he claimed to the last that he did do it, but that it was an accident, that the gun had gone off during a scuffle, and that he was not, in fact, a contract killer who was carrying out a job for $4,000.
Well, remember, who was the woman who murdered Dr. Herman Tarnauer? What was her name? Jean Harris.
Jean Harris, right.
She claimed that her gun went off 7 times accidentally. So she plugged this guy.
Shaky finger thing.
Yeah.
Shaky finger syndrome.
Oh, okay, well.
And then the Democratic Party charging $50,000 per couple for for this big weekend retreat with the president and the vice president, trying to clear up a campaign debt of $15 million. And
what do people expect now? Of course, what idiot would show up at any sort of fundraising event anyway? That's number one. Number two, what would you expect you were going to get now? I mean, Gore's never going to be elected anything after this. And not when we have people like Bob Kerry and Bill Bradley. And I could even actually bring myself to vote for Dick Gephardt before I'd vote for... Well, I know. But, I mean, I could vote for Gephardt because I think Gore's just one of the most evil people on the planet. I mean, 1 minute we're endorsing... Here's what I don't understand. I mean, he obviously can say what he wants to say, but it wasn't that long ago. We had his wife wanting to slap these warning labels on all these rock and roll records. Yep. And now we turn around and we've got him, sucking up to Ellen and that whole deal. Now
I don't think that's the...
That's probably the wrong way. I mean...
Maybe Tipper would suck up to Ellen.
Yeah, endorsing that whole thing. But which I guess is all right, but it would be interesting to see how he felt if Ellen had a big old lip lock on one of the Gore daughters. We might have a different view. You know?
Boy, I'd pay $50,000 for that.
So anyway,
oh, man.
So I don't know what people expect to get, so...
Don't know.
$50,000 for a weekend with those two.
$50,000 for a weekend at the Amelia Island Golf and Tennis Resort in Florida.
If you gave me that, I wouldn't go. Of course, I'm not likely to be invited, but...
No, really, we'd love to have you come down. We really would.
If I could give another speech.
We need a piñata.
By the way, any of you here want to be on the Imus Morning program this morning and, we had a couple of people on. Rob's assignment yesterday was to go into the audience in Bangor and find some interesting people, and he found two people who were nice enough people, but they just were not interested.
And they were the most interesting in the crowd.
They were?
Yes.
Okay, but so I mean, you'd be more likely to get on than not if you had something to give us, or something bizarre about you, or I don't know, or something you wanted to show us,
some body part you're suggesting, or what?
Yeah. You want me on the radio, baby? You gonna eat the rest of that cheeseburger?
You should just turn your radio on. We're in Portland, Maine, which is a very pretty little city. The whole place looks like Georgetown, doesn't it?
It does.
It's really. And it's right here. There's some ocean over here, right? It's the Atlantic Ocean.
So. Some body of water. I don't know.
But it's a neat place, and all kinds of colored trees. It's beautiful. So.
Yep.
And we're in the Merrill Auditorium.
It's nice up here.
Yeah.
New York City, huh?
Yeah.
Can't get there from here.
What else going on, Charles?
A Wisconsin appeals court has ruled that a brother and sister convicted of felony incest have no parental rights to their 7-year-old daughter. The couple have lost parental rights.
What's that kid like?
I don't know. That's not described here, man. Perhaps mercifully so. Yeah. The couple have lost parental rights to all 3 of their children, and the woman is pregnant again. And in a not unrelated story, I suppose,
Probably turn out like Fred.
Exactly like Fred. He is a result of people too closely related having had relationships.
Like, remember Amy Carter?
Yes, I do.
That's what I always thought about her.
A condom maker is recalling 57 million condoms. You may want to make a note of the brand name.
All used.
Ansel.
All used by Wilt Chamberlain.
Well, we'll see. Ansel Personal Products says some of the condoms may break. The recall covers 3 brand names: Lifestyles, Prime, and Contempo. The company says there have been several consumer complaints about the condoms failing. Consumers may return recalled condoms to the place of purchase, or to Ansell Consumer Relations Department, 1500 Industrial Road, Dothan, Alabama, 36303.
Well, how the complaints are lodged, how would you determine?
Pretty easy, really.
Oh, God, look what happened.
That's how you determine it.
Did they fall off or what?
No, I mean, they fail. They don't stand up to the test of time, whatever.
Well,
so
they go down on you quicker than a cheap Sears tire.
That will be fine. We need to go there.
God, I had a cousin like that, too.